Hello my friends, come my jelly. I've used the ketogenic journey to lose 211 pounds. But I am up from that number right now. Not really sure how far up because I went to net carbs and before going to net carbs my weight started climbing. Not because I'm overeating, maybe because I'm undereating, maybe because my body's sensitive, or maybe because I am doing a lot more physical activity than I was before. I'm also, after 15 years, coming off my heart palpitation / blood pressure meds, and that can do a lot to your body when you are coming off of medication you are used to taking. No, I have not cheated on keto. Yes, I am showing you what I eat and my carbs and macros and all that every day, which I'm about to do again today. It's yesterday's and my steps and my sleep, and you're about to see all that in 1 second. Dino will be in the video later. He is busy right now, and I'm just making this before we leave to go get my Dexa scan because it's a long drive. Also having to wear clothes I don't want to. I don't like this. It's, you know, a big baggy shirt and I'm just not comfortable in the clothes I'm wearing today, but I'm still gonna try to make a pretty video. I have to feel comfortable in the clothes I'm wearing, and I'm hot because you had to wear leggings, and this is the only pair that I did not pack up because my yoga ones are too thick. They said a thin pair of leggings, so yeah, and not a normal bra. Sorry, my eyes are still got sleep in them really bad and they itch. So yeah, let me go ahead and show you all those macros. No weigh-in yet, only weigh in once a week I think this month is what I'm going to do. Well, starting July, but my months are always in between months. Oh, I think tomorrow is workout day, like we start at the actual gym instead of just at home. So let's see those macros, see what I had for breakfast. I'll show you what Dino had for breakfast. Plus, I think he had a few pepperonis I did not record. Okay, so yesterday's macros: 123 protein, 77 fat, 1251 calories. You're going to find out that is way too low calories. 3 net carbs, 21 total. And my steps for yesterday was 10,048. And I think I went too far. Hold on. Hours and 23 minutes of sleep. It's just acting up today. So a total of 2. Okay, so he's having his 2 scoops of protein powder, so that's 4 net carbs, and I weighed out about 3 net carbs of strawberries. I don't even think it was that much, but around that, and that's what he's having this morning. No peanut butter. Oh, for mine, that's for the bunny. Okay, it is 11 a.m. You didn't even finish stirring it. I see it's still messy. Okay, it's 11 a.m. 7 bacon, 7 pieces of bacon, 3 eggs. I've only been up for a few minutes. I am having some heart palpitations this morning, so it's a little hard to concentrate. So I just gotta wait for them to come down. Okay, you saw my macros. They're way under what I want them to be, so we're working up to eating more. Right now the scale is doing whatever it wants. Like, I think it's just getting used to, like I said, the no medication, which is weird for my body, Dino being here, the new times of eating, so much physical activity, people. I have not had this much physical activity in forever. The last 9 days, well actually probably 2 days before he got here, so the last 11 days has been exhaustion to my body at the highest extent. Plus I have fibromyalgia. So you can imagine the pain and inflammation that's going up in my body. I had my bacon and eggs. I don't know what time I'll be eating dinner because the appointment's at 2, but it's almost 2 hours away with traffic. I don't know if we're going to stop and look at the stores and shops over there because there is a Trader Joe's. I've never got to go inside a Trader Joe's before, and I really want to, and there is one over there, so if we have time, I really want to do that. The neighbor's house didn't burn down, it was just their shed. They didn't even call the fire department themselves, they just let it burn. Just in case you were wondering from yesterday's video. Honey's doing better. I need to take some video of him, but he is being naughty because his girlfriend is in heat again, and she's got kittens, his kittens, and I really don't want him to knock her up, but there's nothing I can do about it because the spading costs money. You have to leave them in your house afterwards. I was told, especially with him, he's very high risk and he can't be left in my house. And he goes insane when I get near a box, even if I'm not putting him in it. He has post-traumatic stress syndrome, literally from boxes or cars now. He is so terrified I'm taking him back to the vet that he goes nuts and his little heart pounds out of his chest and he starts scratching and crying. So I don't even put him near those items anymore. I don't want to torture him like that. But the eardrops has been working great. The first round of it didn't work so well. Like, it worked for a week or so and then he got bad again. I've been giving it nonstop. I decided just to keep giving him the eardrop antibiotics until they run out, because kitty leukemia, they can have ear infections basically their whole life, like over and over again. So hopefully, you know, he'll be fine once this is over. Some cats fight it. Every cat in my yard has it, obviously, they said, and they've all fought it over the years. There's only one that's a little sluggish, but none of them's ever had any issues. Which means all the neighbors' cats all have it too, because neighbors' cats won't stay away from it. For all I know, the neighbors' cats could have given it to my cats years ago. But he is doing better, so that is a plus. I'm trying not to drink my coffee on camera because I tend to, I guess, slurp. But it's really hot, and then I pop my lips sometimes, and I only pop my lips when I'm like trying to think what I'm gonna say and I'm a little excited at that moment. It is a anxiety de-stressor. But I found out it irritates some of y'all, so I'm gonna try to be aware of it and not do it. I am sorry. And I don't even think anything of it because everyone irritates me. There's so many things about people that irritate me, but I never tell them. I could have known them 30 years and I will never tell them. But that's just who I am. So I don't even think anything of it when, like, no, I tell Dino what irritates me on him because I gotta live with him 24/7. Like this morning, he can wake up out of bed and be hyper and excited. My dad's the same way. I wish I could be that way. I would give anything to wake up and be full of energy. But I have such a rough time sleeping and I'm still not awake yet. I've been awake for 2 hours and I'm still sluggish. And he's screaming and making noise to the top of his lungs, knocking on the walls, yelling good morning over and over and over again. I'm just looking at him like, how can you have energy? How can you? I would love that. I've only had that a few times. I will admit, when I used to do my MCT oil every morning, once I had that every morning, I did get tons of energy. But lately, I am so dead from everything we're doing that I am like, oh, just let me go back to sleep, please. And my blood pressure is staying low. And when my blood pressure is more in the normal range, not the low normal, I have more energy too. I'm hoping working out of the gym, building some muscles will help build energy. And I did change my macros, like I said. Those are, if I want it, I won't feel guilty of the month of July having it. Meaning on 4th of July, if I want some extra strawberries, extra cucumbers, because these are the things I crave on 4th of July. If I want the sausage dog that has 4 carbs in it, I'm not talking about buns though, just the dogs. If I want some sour cream, I don't have to feel guilty going over 20 or 18 total carbs because I'm doing some net right now. But 90% of the time, you're going to see I'm right there at 20 total carbs. Even if it's net carbs, I seem to be right there, 20, 21, just going by my regular day of eating. Now when I do keto chow, it's when it starts to get to the 21s easier, which I probably will be having keto chow again. I kind of want to incorporate that as one of my meals every day for the whole month of July and see what happens, but we will see. I wanted to make an omelet or something this morning, but he wanted his little protein shake. which he, like I said, did not put the peanut butter in. Okay, everyone tells me don't make him do keto. I'm not making him do anything. It's cheaper if he didn't do keto, and he won't listen to me and won't let me coach him or tell him anything about keto. So I'm okay with him not doing keto, because it's a little stressful when he says, well, I'm doing keto, but it's 100 carbs in a day. He's not in ketosis, and it's totally not keto, because I don't want him misrepresenting it on my channel. You want to do low carb, it works too. And my daughter does low carb. My mom does keto. I do keto. My mom does not keto. I normally do total keto. Whatever he wants to do, I am fine with, but he wants to do what I'm doing. But the problem is, I don't want to do what he's doing, but he wants us to eat the same, which means he's either got to be keto or he's got to eat his own way without eating the same. And he is big into couples need to be eating the same way. So he's the one who's going to have to go keto if he wants that, because I'm not going carb world. I'm not going low carb either. I'm doing total and net, bouncing back and forth, depending on how I feel each day. So no, this girl ain't trying to make him do anything because it is stressful. I'd rather him just do his own little thing over there. But I did yesterday wash and cut up and dry fresh strawberries, because he doesn't like them not frozen, and I froze them all so that they would work better in his shake for him, and he didn't have to use as many. He can get away with using 3 or 4 large ones only. He doesn't like berries because he doesn't like the seeds in them, so strawberries is the only berry he'll do. And then he decided not to do the peanut butter today and just do the protein powder and then some pepperoni. So far we're keto. He's doing keto right this minute. So I think he should just eat what works for him and stuff, if he's not going to let me explain what keto really is. I've tried. I mean, I've been doing keto 4 years, and I thought he was like listening to me when I talk, but when he talks, I realized I don't think he was, because he doesn't like, keto and cabbage. I mean, cabbage and chicken, that's basic keto right there. So, and then he makes it seem like it's not. So y'all gotta bear with him. And he's a joker. He is 100% joker. He doesn't take anything serious. He'll never say anything serious. It doesn't matter if I'm dying on the street, he's gonna joke and not be serious, because he's not a serious person. I don't think he's ever been serious for 1 single minute over anything, which is a little hard for me, because I am a serious person, because I believe if you joke through life, you're just joking your life away, and that how can you enjoy anything, because it's all one big ball of jokes. He's the opposite. If you're serious, how can you enjoy life, because you're taking life too serious. So we're the opposite on that, and that's okay, because all couples have something that they're opposite with. I just am like, whatever, and I ignore him, and he ignores me on that part. So it all works. But this exhaustion is horrible, and it says that on the medication. Most people can never come off the medication. They've only had a handful of people ever come off the medication that I was on. It says you're going to be extremely tired, extremely weak. Your heart's got to learn to repump on its own, because it changes the beat and the rhythm of your heart. And I was on it for 14 years, so now it's got to be able to do it without that pill. There's a lot of side effects on coming off of it. There was a huge side effects using it, and there's a huge coming off, including severe heartburn again, because my stomach's got to get used to not having it. And it is not something that stops heartburn. It can actually cause it. But my stomach was used to having whatever chemicals that is in it. And that's when the side effects, when you're coming off, come to find out. So the next 3 weeks might be rough, or it might not. We're gonna pray it's not, right? I'm gonna pray load up on some more fat, though. I don't think I've been eating enough fat for being so non-energy. I don't like to eat a lot of fat when I'm trying to lose weight. But if we're gonna be going to the gym and burning a lot, because it's gonna have me lifting a lot of weights, I think I might need it. I've been talking 11 minutes. I should get inside, get ready, the rest of the way ready, and get out of here. And yeah, I'll put him in the video sometime today too. He likes being in them. But, you know, I like to have my little chat moments. So y'all will get to see my chat moments. They aren't going anywhere. We're just going to add his little comments and his little day stuff in it too. So he doesn't, like, he's part of my life, and I'm showing y'all my life and showing you how things are for me to lose weight or not lose weight. So that being said, I will catch y'all in a little bit. Change my clothes. I just was sitting there hating those clothes, so I put this tank top on and then just normal black leggings on. Here's the pain in the butt right here. I try to make him coffee in the morning. He doesn't want it. Now that we're walking out the door, he wants coffee, so we're waiting.
Coffee. I need to pick me up.
Yeah, I'm exhausted. So tired.
I'm good, ready to go. Come on, let's go.
Your coffee's making.
Okay, recording. You're gonna overdo it.
Oh, I forgot. My head doesn't like to touch the ground.
Oh yeah, she is.
We do. So, we're going to see the arm come back. This is not the scan. This is just, we keep the arm down there so that you don't bump your head getting on the table. Once we're at the top, you're going to have some hard work to do. You're going to need to lay still for about 4.5 to 5 minutes.
Oh no.
Now please breathe like normal through the scan. We don't need you to hold your breath or shallow breathe or anything like that. Breathe like normal, but just try to keep the rest of your body real still.
Are you recording, baby?
Yeah, you want me to record the whole 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh crap.
And we are scanning now. So, like I said, just kind of relax. You can enjoy our tropical ambiance up there. But again, scan time will be about 4.5 to 5 minutes. We'll have results as soon as it's done.
Had to put that in there.
Like I said, if you have any questions or, you know, for any reason you need me, speak up. I'm right here. Otherwise, we'll let you kind of lay here, and again, we'll let you know as soon as it's done.
Let's get a bird's eye view here.
Absolutely.
And the scan right here. I don't want to get too close, but yeah, as far as me holding this 5 minutes, we can see. Because I'm trying to keep it steady, but my heart's like every way.
Well, if it gets too much too, a lot of people will put it down on the table because it's got a good shot there. So, just in case.
Here we go. That's not bad. Oh, it says it is like an extra thing. Oh, that's cool.
I get to see it swipe by swipe. And again, that's why if she was wearing any metal, it would just look like bone. So it doesn't mess the machine up. It just. But the problem is that extra metal would then make the bone density seem higher. And for women, it's very important to get a good reading because unfortunately for women, they suffer a lot more from bone density issues than men usually do.
Oh, man.
So definitely talk about that though.
Mind if I record that part a little bit?
You can, as long as it's okay. Is it okay if he scans the actual scan process on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a fast one.
It doesn't show my name, right?
Oh no, I'm
not
not
showing at the top.
I'm just going to use the.
Oh, just
there
that
you
part.
The last name.
Gotcha.
This. There you go. I just want to show a part. That's pretty cool. Here she is. She's no smiling. That's cheating. Okay, she's doing this scan thingy. That's pretty cool right there.
I know, at least I got palm trees to look at.
Yeah, that's a good idea though. You get like lighting in your house.
Offices do that too, but it's a fake fish tank in theirs.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool though.
My wife says she got it from a gynecologist office because apparently that's not a pleasant office visit sometimes. So having something to focus on is
Let's zoom in a little.
is nice as that's going on.
probably put music over it or something. I don't know.
No.
No. Wait, what?
Why not, baby? I gotta be able to hear y'all in the videos. Everyone's gonna want to hear it.
Oh God.
I might add a little light music in the background.
So does this determine like bone density and stuff like that as well?
It'll do a bone density screening.
Okay.
So the good thing about that is that from the screening, then if it's, you'll have information in your hands on whether or not you necessarily need to get an actual bone density scan. A bone density scan will look at the left hip, the right hip, and the lumbar portion of your spine. We also would look at the non-dominant forearm usually, just to make sure, because if you fall, what's the first thing you do? Well, you throw your hands out. So we want to make sure that you have a good idea there. I will say that for women over the age of 50, insurance usually will cover a scan every 2 years.
Mine covers it all the way because I have fibromyalgia and I had diabetes.
Okay.
I had a list of stuff. I also was testing positive for 1 of 5 autoimmunes like lupus.
Okay.
But I don't test positive anymore after going keto.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So you know about it, so that's good.
Yeah. I haven't had one done in years though. Since I lost all the weight, they haven't done any.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely give you an idea where you're at today, and of course, then too, the big trigger point for women is also going to be menopause. Once you start menopause, there'll be about a 6 to 8 year period where you will actually lose bone at a more rapid rate than a man will. And so that's why everything you can do to kind of build yourself up before that happens, the better it is for your long-term bone health. And it should be done here out there this way.
I take a lot of collagen a day too.
So you want me to turn it off though, or you?
We can, yeah, and then we can start it again when he starts talking. Okay.
All right, so our first sheet is the data sheet. Again, you can see on here, we look at fat mass, your lean mass, total mass, and then BMC, and BMC is bone mineral content. Which bone you have. We do your arms total, then right, left, and the difference between the two. We do the same with the legs.
Okay.
Trunk is going to be kind of this home plate area looking here. Think of a Barbie doll without its head and legs and arms. Android is across the waist. Gynoid is across the hips. We'll have another sheet about that in a minute. And then we'll have our totals across the bottom. You will notice there'll be 2 body fat percentages on the report. The one on this front here is called a tissue body fat percentage. And the only thing, the difference between that and a normal body fat percentage, we take the skeleton out of the equation.
Okay.
So if you think about it, your bones don't really change that much, not in the pounds. They're going to be in grams per centimeter squared. So it just kind of adds excess weight to your total weight. So it kind of skews your body fat percentage a little bit lower. That we think that the interaction between the soft lean tissue and the fat is more pertinent to your health. So that's why there are 2. So the higher one is without the skeleton.
Okay.
We'll show you the more traditional one on another page. You can see down here your BMI. Again, of course, doctors' insurances and other places use this. Not the best tool in the world. It's just simply weight divided by height squared. We're actually going to break that down for you on another sheet and make it a little more relevant for you.
All right.
So not, again, good for large-scale populations, not so good for individuals. Down here, anywhere where you see a data point on our sheet, that's just where trending data will emerge. So if you come back down the road and say, hey, this is how, my diet exercise program is going, we'll be able to see the changes here. The new image will go here, and we'll compare it against this baseline. And you can see on the baseline, white is obviously your skeleton. Red is your soft lean tissue, so pretty much you see your muscle structure through there. And then orange to yellow would be fat. And so again,
Still got tons of fat.
That's the visual look at there. So again, that's at your analysis here.
Okay.
We do include a resting metabolic rate on our report. That resting metabolic rate, amount of calories that you need to maintain lean tissue over a 24-hour period at rest.
Okay.
It's an estimate based off your lean tissue reading. So again, our suggestion here is, unless you're under a doctor or a nutritionist guidelines and they're working with you, try not to go below your resting metabolic rate in terms of total calories consumed.
And I've been doing that a lot lately.
So if you have, I will tell you that
might explain why I'm stalling so bad.
It could, yeah. I mean, you could be easily losing weight, but the thing is, most people don't necessarily want to lose weight; they want to lose fat.
That's what I want to lose.
And so, yeah, and when you start going below that resting metabolic rate for long periods of time, you're going to be burning lean tissue, not fat.
Okay.
I've actually had people lose significant weight, and their body fat percentage went up. because they've burned so much lean tissue. It's why yo-yo dieting is so terrible, because when people crash diet, they're usually getting rid of course, you'll get rid of water weight first, and then you'll attack lean tissue. Well, once the diet's done, because most people can't sustain that totally, then they start eating the old ways. They actually will gain the weight back quicker, and because you're not as effective burning calories, you actually put on more weight on average. So that's why we would really suggest trying not to go below that in terms of total. RSMI is relative skeletal muscle index. Yeah, I'll get that out. It's also called limbs lean mass on our report. It is simply the portion of your BMI that is arm and leg muscle tissue. So it's a good way. Density. We use a Z-score over here. That's just a standard deviation look.
Okay.
You're actually 2.2 standard deviations above average in terms of where your bone density at.
So that's a good thing.
That is a very good thing. So your bone density is doing really, really good. How do you keep bone density up? It is load-bearing exercises. So walking, running, jogging is good. Weightlifting tends to be the best, though. It's a more prolonged.
That's what we're about to start doing
awesome.
Again.
So that'll definitely help. And then also making sure you're getting plenty of calcium and vitamin D. Most Americans are vitamin D deficient.
I take one a week.
You do? Okay, gotcha. And we always suggest what a doctor recommends, because the K vitamins, K, A, D, and E, are fat soluble. Yeah. So you actually can take toxic levels of those if you take too much. Oh. So that's why we always like to say that if a doctor, let them suggest it to you so that you're very safe. Awesome.
Because I used to have 0 vitamin D. I can't make it myself, so I do the 55 milligrams once a week.
Yeah, so you probably, you have to get a lot. So that definitely will help the bone density. You can see on here that this is your bone structure. On our image, the darker the bone, the more dense it is. And then what we have here, this is not a body fat map, it's a body fat percentage map.
Okay.
And so this is going to look, this is going to include lean tissue. With body fat, we always think, or body fat percentage, we think it's how fat we are. But keep in mind, it's body fat percentage, which means the other part of that percentage is lean tissue. And so this way you can kind of see how they interact. Areas that are over 60% or a higher, body fat percentage over 60 are in red. Yellow would be 25 to 60, and then green would be body fat percentages under 25%. It's always joke about people try to do the Go Green initiative, right? So we can do it environmentally and locally. So, but again, just a good idea, to try to, of course, if you're trying to lose fat, we'd love to see more green kind of creep into there. These are our comparison databases, or comparisons. We use the NHANES, National Health and Nutrition Expert Survey. You can look at that on web. It's the largest database of its kind for this data. It is age, sex, and ethnic specific. And so we've already looked at your bone mineral density. Very good here. Your bone mineral content, this is how much bone you have. This usually doesn't change that much, kind of like your height. Once you finish growing, that's pretty much it. It can vary a little bit, but not much. But it's just interesting to see where that ranking is. Here is your standard body fat percentage. So this is the normal way that you would do it, just total weight into total fat. If you're doing any kind of fitness app or talking to a nutrition expert or doctor, this will be the number you give them. And you can see your ranking there. And then also on this one, that was that RSMI we talked about, also limbs lean mass. So we can see that the portion of your BMI that is lean tissue is at 7.4. So that puts you in the 81 percentile, or 0.9 standard deviations above average. It just means that if you were walking to a room of 100 women, your age and ethnicity, only 19 of them would have a higher portion of their BMI, arm and leg muscle material and lean tissue.
So that's a good thing for me.
Ranking. Absolutely.
Yay!
Yeah, you don't want to see that one too low unless you're like a long distance runner or something like that. This is usually the trouble sheet here. This is the adipose page and fat. We do look at fat very narrowly here in the android region. So this analysis, of course, is that android spot. That's kind of roughly at the belly button, the waist. And again, the reason we look there is because that's the absolute worst place to carry your fat. So that's why we're going to analyze it there. You can see over this one, this is your overall body data. And just like why we love this machine, the machine saw you at 173.5, the scale saw you at 173.4. So 1/10 of a pound difference.
Really
So that's why using that GE Lunar Dexa is just, it's a great machine. We love it. But if we look at your waist, the android region, we'll see that your body fat percentage is at 42%. Your hips or gynoid region comes in at 42.7 for an android to gynoid or waist to hip ratio of 0.98. Ideally for ladies, we'd like to see that under 0.86, so just a little bit above that. It just simply means that your waist has a slightly lower body fat percentage than your hips, which is better. But we'd like to see the addition maybe a little bit more. Again, like I said, we like that ratio at 0.86.
Okay.
The higher you are above 0.86, the higher at risk you are for metabolic disease, so do keep that in mind. For this one down here, though, the visceral adipose tissue, this is a more important number. This is the most dangerous fat in your body for two reasons. One, it is metabolically active. And so because it's metabolically active, the more you have, the more it's going to interfere with hormones, particularly insulin and cortisol.
Yeah.
So that's why we'd like to see low amounts here. And then the final thing is that because of where it's located, it's actually underneath the abdominal muscle.
Okay.
So it's sometimes called belly fat, and I hate that moniker because people will pinch their midsection and say, that's my visceral adipose tissue. No, you can't pinch this. It is underneath your abdominal muscle, but it does surround your organs, and so too much can start forcing that fat into the organs, which is not good. We see in your android region that you're carrying roughly about 1.59 pounds of visceral adipose tissue for a volume of 46.69. We would love to see that number under 52. So right now you're under that 52, close to it, but again, you're not over it. And so again, you're not at risk for all the diseases that can occur from that. Some of the big ones, though, are like, for instance, diabetes, high blood pressure,
I cured both.
A heart attack, certain forms of cancer, or even they're starting to find data that correlates with high amount of visceral adipose tissue. So the less you have on that, the better your health. So right now, again, under that 52 mark, so that's good. And then the final thing that we look at here is just another way to ratio or look at your body. We're going to start at the bottom two first. And we just looked at your waist to hip ratio. So instead, we're going to expand that out a bit. And so instead of that narrow region, we're going to look at the entire trunk, and we're going to compare that against both legs. And again, this is body fat percentage. And we see that at 1.07, it has your trunk at slightly higher body fat percentage than you do your legs. And then we compare that to the actual fat in the trunk versus the actual fat in the arms and legs. And so the big difference is here we're looking at just the actual quantifiable amount of fat, whereas with the body fat percentage, lean tissue comes into play with that.
Okay.
And so one of the things that could be an issue is, if, for example, if you had an injury, your legs might have a lower body fat, lower body fat percentage because of not being able to exercise. So you have to kind of compare, is it because you have excess fat? Is it, are you overtraining, undertraining? Women tend to overtrain legs, men tend to overtrain their arms and chest. So again, we look at that. And we do see a bit of a difference between the two at 1.07 versus 1.26. It could be an issue of maybe a slightly higher body fat percentage in the trunk versus legs. But if we look at our map here, we can see that there was in the trunk area a higher body fat percentage.
Yeah.
And so what it probably tells us is that the change or the difference between these two is probably coming from maybe a little bit higher fat load in the trunk versus the legs.
Which is understandable.
So,
my waist used to be over 74 inches around.
Gotcha. There you go. And so I don't know if maybe you've had the skin removal surgery,
Nope.
but some of it, if you've got that loose skin, there is some fat that stays with that skin, and it can kind of elevate those numbers a bit as well.
And I do know I still have loose
So,
fat, but so far I
okay.
don't have any loose skin. This is my most loose skin, and that's mostly loose fat.
I
So
gotcha. So, so that, just like I said, just kind of showing you how things are proportioned out. The last thing that we look at is a breakdown of that BMI. And we see that your BMI came in at 28.2. So out of that 28.2, the portion of fat, or your fat mass index, is 10.31. The portion of lean, or out of that BMI that's lean, is 16.85. And so again, with this, ideally for ladies, we would like to see that number between 5 and 9.
Okay,
So a little bit
I
high.
need to go down
So
on that.
yeah, but like I said, not too far away, especially with all the hard work it looks like you put in. And then the lean we don't necessarily have a ranking for, because I could be looking at a marathon runner, I could be looking at a power lifter. The big thing is that you don't want to see this number real low. If you're not a long distance runner, then that low could indicate a condition called I've heard it being called TOFI. I hate that term.
Oh, wow.
It's thin outside, fat inside.
Oh,
the
yeah,
other one
skinny
is
fat.
skinny fat.
That's how
Yeah.
we all know what is skinny fat.
Yeah. So again, that's how we look at that. Now, if you add these two up, it doesn't quite equal the BMI. That's because we don't include the bone in the BMI breakdown analysis. But other than that, that's the report. Do you have any questions by chance?
So does this have a generalization on how much more weight I need to lose to be in the healthier numbers to get the fat off, or?
So we usually don't look at weight per se. Weight is a function of the BMI, and you can see the BMI would tell you to be at normal range. You would have to weigh 153.
Okay.
The problem is that if you start working and lifting out, especially women, it makes hitting those numbers very difficult, because again, the BMI is simply weight divided by height squared. You could come in here and lose 10 pounds of fat gain 10 pounds of muscle, that's a very
still
different
be the
look, but the
same.
BMI would be exactly the same.
Okay.
What we tell people to focus on, especially if fat loss is the goal, is to focus exclusively on the FMI or fat mass index, which is simply just the fat portion of your BMI, because again, that's doing or looking at the actual fat on your body. If you bring that down between 5 and 9, then roughly all of your other numbers start to come into where you want them to be. Now, keep in mind, if you don't exercise, your body fat percentages can stay kind of high because, again, if you don't have a lot of lean tissue, there's not a lot to compare that fat to.
Okay.
So that's why when you hear exercise experts and doctors tell you you don't want to lose more than 1 to 2 pounds of weight, well, that's because you don't want to cut the calories so much you're burning lean, and why strength or resistance training is very important for people, especially people who are not doing long distance running, because again, it's helping to build that lean tissue, so it makes your body fat percentage better. But
Okay.
the big thing is that load resistance helps with diabetes. It helps keep you mobile. Of course, the big thing is just making sure you're using proper form. You don't want to just sling the weights around. You want to do it properly.
Yeah,
but
he's always like, no, proper form, baby.
Yes.
You're going to break your wrist.
I would rather
You're gonna
see
do
you
this
bench
or
press
that.
50 pounds correctly than 200 pounds
Yeah.
incorrectly.
Yeah.
Because you're going to eventually have to stop working out. That's kind of what happened to me. So, proper form. And then the last little tidbit I'll give you if you are trying to build lean tissue is your protein. Roughly where we've seen the best results here is when when people are roughly getting about a gram of protein for every pound of lean tissue.
Okay.
So I know the old ones was for every pound of body weight. That's because it's kind of hard to hit that, and so if you missed it, it's still, by missing the mark, you're still probably above it.
I usually
But-
do about 119 or
About
higher.
119,
I
I
was
think.
doing a pound of boneless, skinless chicken a day.
Okay.
But it just depends on which way I'm leaning on
That
the
day.
diet that day.
Yeah, if you're hitting roughly 119, 120, that's covering your lean mass,
Yeah.
so that at least you should be providing, at least from the protein level, all your body needs. I know you said with that resting metabolic rate, you were probably eating under that. So if
Yes,
we could bump
'cause
the
sometimes
calories up.
it would be anywhere from 900 to 1200. I
Okay.
was just really hard. I bumped them up a lot lately, but
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been able to reach it. Like I did my macros on
Mm-hmm.
here, but it's really hard for me to eat that much food.
It is, but I will tell you that if you're not at least consuming that, your body, you get more nutritional density from lean tissue than fat.
I'm gonna have to eat
And
more
so-
than once or twice a day because I'm a 2-miller, so this means
Okay.
I'm gonna have no choice but to go to 3 meals or to add
6
more
meals a day?
stuff. Not sick. I can't. That would raise my sugars too many times because keto is about not raising your sugar past 93.
Exactly. Now, but of course, then the flip side, I know you talked about you did have some issues, medical issues. By all means, though, anytime you do something like this, especially if it's a change, run it by your doctor just to make sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he didn't agree to any of it. Neither did the diabetes or my heart dodger. But now they prescribe it to their patients because they
gotcha.
watched me do it and
Okay.
change. Because I had horrible A1C, now it's 4.9.
Wow, that's okay.
I just ended my heart meds that were for extreme high blood pressure that I was on for 14 years plus heart palpitations.
Wow, okay.
So that's all. I'm off of those. I'm off all. I had so many pills. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So many specialists, and now they can't find much of anything wrong with me other than my fibromyalgia and allergies.
Well, it's crazy how that is, but that's one of the things we like about this. We actually get to see how it works out. We actually get to, we'll be able to tell, is it working? Is it not working? And like I said, keep in mind, these are insights that we have. So again, anytime you do any kind of major changes or something like that, they'll always check with the doctors just to be safe.
Yeah.
But other than that, do you have any questions about your report?
No, I think that's it. Unless you do, baby.
No, I'm good.
Awesome.
I'm good.
Well, you did say you grabbed my cards, so if
Yes.
you do have any questions, I know it can be like a tidal wave of data. Like you said, you have it recorded, so at least you go back and look. But if there's something that comes up, that maybe you need a little more clarification or something, by all means, please email me. It's a tool. We want you to be able to use that tool as effectively as possible. So if I can do that, help you by answering a question about that report, I'll be more than happy to do it.
How long should I wait for the second one? Because
So-
we're going to start working out, I think, tomorrow on the
Tomorrow.
weights.
What I generally tell people, there's usually 3 big ones. We'll tell you if you're starting and stopping a particular program, like a 90-day challenge or something like that. It can be interesting to see your beginning and end results so you can judge the efficacy of that program. Otherwise, we're going to generally tell people about 6 months if they're very serious about it, because that gives your body time to change. Body composition can take time, and we don't want you to kind of torpedo great efforts because you're not seeing wanted results right away.
It's the same way when you get on the scale and you're
Exactly.
like, because I put on 8 pounds this week and I haven't done anything wrong, and then I'm just like, let me stay away from the
mind
scale.
goes there, yeah. We want your body to have time to be able to change to any kind of diet, to any kind of exercise program. So we'll say 6 months for that if you're being aggressive, and then a year if not, because there's a lot of good health metrics on there, like the bone mineral density screening, like the visceral adipose tissue and that waist to hip ratio, just so you have some idea. You know, life happens and we get busy and things can kind of creep up on us, and so that would be the main 3 ones that I would say.
All right. Thank you so much.
Well, you're so welcome, and like I said, best of luck, congratulations on all your hard work, and you've done a lot of journey now, so
yeah, that's the body
maybe
part.
a little bit longer.
Okay. Before we go, was the process easy to do or hard to do?
Easy, except I'm a fidgety person, so that part was a little hard. Staying still.
So would you recommend it for everybody?
Yeah, especially for this price. It's like
There you
$80
go.
here, $85 with tax.
And probably the other thing you might want to tell people is that the scan time is based on how big you are. And so, for instance, my scan, I'm about 5'10", I weigh about 310 pounds, and so my scan time takes about 10 to 11 minutes.
Okay.
So it does, yours, I'm not going to give your specifics out, I'll let you do that, but you fell under the threshold for that. So again, at a certain weight, it does transition into what's called a thick mode, which just simply means a 10 to 11 minute scan. Okay. The only reason I say that is, like you just said, you're fidgety, so sometimes people have a harder time staying still. I joke, the hard part you have to do is lay still, and people give me that look, but then
it's hard for someone like me.
It can be hard. Bodybuilders have a hard time because they usually come in under thick skin, and their upper chest, usually they don't, you don't think about stretching it, so when they have to tuck their elbows, start to get the shake. So we do want to put that out there just in case, people who are starting, this journey, and you are, usually for women it's roughly over 200 pounds, for men it's about 215, but it can vary around there. So that's going to be the difference, about 5 minutes under that, about 10 minutes over that.
Okay,
so
thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
I'm hungry, so I am having the beef stick one. He's having the same brand in the pepperoni, because I guess I don't eat enough food. I guess I exercise and don't eat enough food. So we're going to try it their way. Okay, so I'm having my Americano that I always have, and we are at South Point Mall looking around. I haven't been here in years, since they added the whole inside mall. And I just spilled coffee on me because he bounced into me. We won't show you what he's drinking. Check out this. This is so pretty. So I'm getting my steps in and out of the mall. It is 6 o'clock. I am starving. We've been out. We are still out. We are at Jason Stellia's One Trip
Starving,
bar.
really, honey?
Yeah. So I have some bacon bits, some cheese, some ranch, some cucumbers, olives, a little lettuce, pickle underneath there, some more olives, some cucumber, and 2 eggs. And I'm starving. And this is his. Anor has bad food. But yeah. We did not even eat a quarter of our salad, especially me, so I got it to go.
5 pounds of salad each. Lord, that was a lot.
Stop making up lies. So I got 90% of mine to go for tomorrow because that sucker was huge. And no, I won't be showing macros tomorrow because I don't know how to do it. I didn't weigh it. I did count my olives, but guess what? I didn't even eat all of them. I didn't even eat any of the pickles. I ate 2 little stems of the carrot. So I honestly can't give you macros on it. And I'm not even going to try to guess. So, yeah. We're not even going to worry about that. And we're going to go into some more stores. And we got my dad one to go to. Oh, I am beat. And we are still over an hour away from home. It's been a very, very long day. I think I'm going to have me one of these. It is my Perfect Keto Snickerdoodle cookie. It is 5 alkylose, I can't pronounce it, 6 erythritol, 4 fibers, 3 net carbs, 18 total carbs, and I'm kind of wanting something munchy. This is what I packed. So I know I'm going to at least have half of one. Like right now, he's in there using the bathroom. I'm sick of using dirty bathrooms today, so I'm going to hold it until I get home. I love the peanut butter one better. I finally tried the peanut butter and it's my new favorite. I still love the snickerdoodles too though. And this is still from the one that Tara sent me as a gift months ago, because I eat it so slowly. It lasts me a long time. So when y'all send me gifts, especially when it's snack food, it lasts me so long. She also sent me some other cookies that lasted me a really long time too. Now, I think someone else sent me some of these too. I still have them all. So, I probably shouldn't be eating on cam. But, I'm just waiting for him. Gonna drink some of my water that I brought from home. And start driving. Okay, this is probably my 5th time recording this because he keeps interrupting with crazy stuff, thinking it's funny or saying something really bad that I can't cut out. And I am dead exhausted. It is midnight and I'm about to cry my eyes out because I'm so sleepy. I get it. He thinks it's funny, but I'm so tired. I just want to go to bed. Tomorrow's video, we will be laying out the challenge we are going to be doing. I explained this so much better, but I had to delete those videos because there were so many times he was whispering bad stuff and I didn't even realize it until I heard it again. Men, I swear, I don't find it funny at all, but he thinks it's hysterical. Anyways, so you don't want to miss tomorrow's video, okay? And I'm going to go over the Dexa scan and what I have plans for it and what the plan is. Don't worry. You know, this is my channel. Don't worry about that. He's going to be doing something different than me. We're going to have a little challenge against each other, and anyone can join if they want to, because this is going to be a little crazy, and it's going to be a little different than I'm used to. Don't worry, I'm keto. It is a keto and a physical challenge that I am doing. So, yeah, I'm not mad at him. It's his personality. He thinks he's funny, but I'm dead exhausted because that salad made me sick. I ended up finishing it, and if you know me by now, you know lettuce and cucumbers bloat my tummy and makes me sick by the end of the night, and I shouldn't eat it, but somebody like me gets sick of just cheese and meat. I get really sick of it, and I eat some vegetables, and then I feel sick, and then I'm punished for it, and then I don't eat it for a long time. Then I do it again because I always hop on the crazy circle train, right? I should just stick to keto chow. None of them make me sick. Literally, I should just live off keto chow. I swear. They don't make me sick. But it's going to be really hard. Did you hear how many calories I'm supposed to eat? So my resting metabolic rate is almost 1,400. Plus, you add in the calories you burn in a day. I burn a total of, with the resting metabolic rate, over 2,000 and something, which we will go over that tomorrow. Somewhere in between there is where I should be eating. That's a lot of food for me. I have to do the numbers tonight to know the exact numbers to discuss tomorrow. But it will be really interesting. We're going to tape each other. Literally, measure again. My body, measure his body. Get on scales on the camera. We're going to track everything. And, of course, you know, men always lose weight faster than women. So, we know who's going to win that part. But that's not the part I'm worried about. I'm worried about inches. That's what I'm going for.